Hello, good evening, Tom O'Sullivan from Ireland. This is a promotional interview for your Christmas single, A Special Christmas. I must say thank you, Tom, for joining me on Christmas Eve.
That's great, Graham. Thanks very much for having me.
No problem. Well, what is it like in Ireland? What part of Ireland are you in?
I'm living in a place called Cork, which is on the south coast of Ireland.
Cork,
Um,
yeah?
it's the largest county in Ireland. Um, it has a reputation of having the second largest natural harbour in the world. It was a very strategic harbour used by the British and their naval fleet. It also has the reputation for being the last port of call for the Titanic.
Wow, that's got some history to it.
Yeah, massive history,
Yeah,
massive forts in the harbour built by the British. There's also a very historic island in the harbour called Spike Island, where the British incarcerated convicts before deporting them to Australia. So it's an island that's very interesting to a lot of people tracing their family trees, you know?
tourists as well, yeah. And were you
Yeah.
born in Cork?
I was born in Cork City, which is like
Okay.
15 miles upstream in the harbour. You see, Cove, the spelling of Cove is Cobh, which is strange, but it was originally known as the Cove of Cork. So
Okay.
it's a town situated on an island in the harbour called the Great Island, and ships pass that island on their way up to Cork City.
Yes, definitely unfamiliar territory for me. That I haven't been up there. I haven't seen. I've heard of it, obviously, but never travelled, never ventured.
Yeah,
So,
Cork.
Tom, how?
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you carry on?
No, Cork would be very popular with a lot of British tourists, particularly West Cork. For example, Graham Norton lives in West Cork.
Oh,
Jeremy
does he?
Irons lives in West Cork. A lot of celebrities would have family homes in West Cork because it's a very sort of scenic place. It's a very natural place, and it's sort of untouched by a lot of sort of modern progress, really, you know?
That's pretty cool. Graham Norton up there.
He does. He lives down there. Yeah, he's from Cork actually. Graham Norton's actually from Cork. Believe it or not.
So, what's it like over there at the minute with the COVID and the lockdown?
Well, at the moment, my wife is complaining to me because she reckons she's going to have to spend Christmas with me because I have three sons. I have three sons. One son is living in Estonia and he can't get home. Then I have another son
Oh
in
dear.
London. I have another son in London. He can't get home because of the restrictions. And I have
Oh
another
dear.
son living locally that's married and he has two children, my two grandchildren, but they have the flu at the moment. So it appears that, like we're sort of more or less on our own. There's a lot of restrictions now. I think they alleviated some of the restrictions, but they're going to come down hard again after the Christmas, with the restrictions. So the pubs themselves, the wet pubs as they're known as, the pubs that just serve beer without any food, except maybe crisps and peanuts, they're all closed at the moment, and they have actually been closed for a long, long time,
Yeah, and it's sad as well, especially for musicians who can't get out there and play at the moment.
Yeah, well, I was just reading something there today, which I found was interesting. And, they said that musicians have been very hard done by in these times, they've been neglected by governments, I suppose, in Ireland here. And I'm sure it's the same case, in Britain. Because, the point was, that when there's a charitable event being organised, the musicians are normally the first people that they call on to sort of to rally the people, and to make donations and that, you know what I mean? And
Uh-huh.
a lot of those musicians would do it, for free. But a lot of the musicians now obviously have no income. They're on the dole. There was a suggestion here in Ireland by one minister who suggested that musicians should go away and retrain in other jobs, and that comment didn't go down too well actually, because You know, for a lot of musicians, it's all they know, and they've been doing it all their life, sort of honing the skills like to be a musician. You know, to be honest, I work as a substitute school teacher myself, so I'm sort of working as a school teacher, and then I do music as well. Now I came very late to music. I'm actually 61. I came to music. I started off playing the guitar when I was 54. So I sort of started from scratch, really, you know.
Hey,
But I play it every day, so I'm very dedicated to it. And I had my own business for a while, and I sort of gave up the business and I went back to the teaching. But anyway, I found that I got very creative. I started writing poems first, and then I sort of graduated from the poems very quickly into writing songs. And I'm writing poems at the moment, but songs are my first love now, you know.
well, one of the songs that took me and got me hooked was Lullaby by Baby. And I thought that was a lovely little song, soothing and comforting. I thought that was a beautiful little song, great
Yeah,
little
well,
melody. I love the style of the guitar. I love the playing, finger picking. Lovely, absolutely
yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
And the words as well. The words
Well,
complement the
Graham,
melody. You know,
yeah, to be honest, I put an awful lot of effort into the words because I like to write songs that have a meaning. So,
hmm
um, you know, like that particular song, you know, like I normally spend about a month maybe with a song, and I walk my dogs a lot, so I'm constantly rehashing the words and constantly editing the words all the time until I get what I think is the final formula. Then I bring my formula to the recording studio, and he
Yep.
starts giving out to me about structure then, because he's telling me that I haven't got my structure down 100%, but I'm still open to suggestions. And it evolves eventually, and I finally get what I think is sort of, you know, the best I could do. Like, obviously for that song, if I could have had children singing in it, you know, the
hmm
chorus, it would have been really um you know, would have created a great atmosphere, you know, but because of the COVID times, I just sort of had to do with what I had. And I've sort of limited enough resources as well. So it's not like that I had a full orchestra behind me or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, um,
And where did the inspiration come for that song?
well, I was sitting down one night with my guitar, which I'm here now at the moment, and I just heard a riff like this around the D chord. It was like, children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time. So when I played it further up the neck, then it sounded like, children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time. Children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time. Do you know? Sort of
And
evolved
again,
from that, really.
there's meaning to that song right now in the current times that we're in too.
Yeah, well, you see, you know, people talk about the year being a bad year and it's a terrible year and all like that. But look, my philosophy is this, you know, it's, you know, to be thankful for what we have at the moment. And, you know,
Absolutely.
like, we're only going to live once. And, like, you know, the year 2075 might be the best Christmas ever, but I'm not going
You
to be around to see that.
you never
So
know.
I'm going to,
Hey, we
I'm going to,
might be around to see it. You never know.
I'm going to try and make the most of this particular Christmas. And I think, you know, the thing about children are so innocent that they're a bit unaffected, really, in one sense, because they don't realize the full sort of, you know, the implications of what's happening at the moment. But children have smiles in their faces and they're innocent, you know, and we're all sort of serious and we're worried about survival and making money and all like that. So I think the children are a great inspiration. So I had words in there: when the world is despairing, people are caring. So there was reference there to the frontline workers, the nurses, the teachers, people wearing masks all day, butchers, you
Yeah.
know, people working in meat factories, preparing meat, all that kind of stuff, you know. Um, Difficult, you know. loved ones away from home, not feeling all alone. That was a direct reference to my two sons who were abroad, who won't be able to make it home, but because of Skype and sort of connections like this, they're not feeling all alone, and they can sort of feel that love at Christmas time. So I'm sort of saying then, let's make it a special Christmas to remember,
That's
full
right.
of magic and joy. Let's see the smiles on children's faces, because I have two grandchildren, right? And be
Yeah.
thankful for what we have now. And then I sort of come around and say the good times are on their way again. These hard times will pass. The thing about life is that everything passes. The good times pass, the bad times pass as well. The good times pass, the bad times pass. But I say, like, that indomitable human spirit that has seen so many sort of, bad times in the past, world wars and all sorts of tragedies, that the human spirit will see us through that, and we'll feel a love that lasts. And then I basically just finish it around again with that sort of mantra children are singing. The guy in the recording studio said to me that he woke one morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and he was singing, children are singing, bells are ringing. And
Children's singing bells are ringing, yeah.
he was saying like that it was nearly hypnotic, like that it was driving him mad. But it is a sort of a hook, all right, like, but I'm just trying to keep the song nice and simple. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when I go into the classroom when I'm school teaching, I'd say to the kids, have you seen my song at all? So I put it up on YouTube, and I'd sort of direct them to sing as well. So I'd be moving around to various classes. Like, I wouldn't be overdoing it now or anything like that. But the kids find it easy to join in because it's an easy chorus to remember.
Hmm. And the other thing is, you say you started playing guitar quite late on.
Yeah.
Who inspired you to play guitar, or why did you start to play guitar?
Well, the short answer basically is I was thinking about going back to university to study law. Then I looked at the fees and I thought about all the exam pressures and the time I'd have to study and the whole lot. And I had been to university in the past. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to do something for myself, something that I'm actually going to enjoy and get a kick out of. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I basically said, forget about the career ulterior motive. Forget about trying to make money. Just go and do something, some skill that you can bring into your old age and that you can sort of enjoy in your latter years. So I started off playing the guitar, and I just enrolled for local classes, and the guy that was there delivering the classes, he said, look, basically, he said, you only have to practice this for 10 minutes every day, which I thought was very clever, because I found the better I got at the guitar, that it became more addictive. Whereas first day, if he said, you'll have to practice this every day for an hour, do you know what I mean? Then that could have been maybe off-putting then, because I might have seen it in terms of being a chore. But I do have my own philosophy, like, about the guitar and learning the guitar. And essentially my advice to anyone thinking of taking up the guitar is just learn the 3 chords, do the 3 chord trick, get a bit of confidence, a bit of momentum going, and it'll grow from there. Use the capo to cheat. You can transpose the key with the use of the capo, and get a bit of momentum going, because once you got momentum and you got confidence, you'll move on from there. And don't get bogged down like in the theory and learning all the scales and all that kind of stuff first. Do you know what I mean? Just get going with it and get out there with the 3 chords, and that's my philosophy. And to be honest, I still use those 3 chords an awful
Yeah,
lot.
and you've done that to good effect as well, because you've got your songs out there and you're doing well with them on YouTube. They've been well received on YouTube, haven't they?
They are, yeah, they are. In fairness, I work hard at it as well. It's like the old story, the dog that barks the loudest gets the biscuit. And
Yes.
today, for example, look, I have spreadsheets and I have lists and I send emails out to radio stations and to DJs. Like today, I sent an email to the Falkland Islands, like to the radio station in the Falkland Islands. I sent emails to India, to New Zealand, to Australia, to Canada. It's just something like that I do. Like when you play the guitar and you're creative, as you know yourself, when you write a song, then there's another P comes into the equation then besides playing, and that's promotion. And you have to sort of promote the music, and that takes time. And the more time it takes, the further away from the creativity it takes you. But it's a bit of it's a sort of something that needs to be done. But I try to do it with a dignity, and I try to do it with respect. And I meet great people along the way, you know, and definitely I'm new to all this. I'm like an apprentice really, but I'm meeting wonderful people along the way. And you know, second time around maybe with more songs, no, it'll be easier because I'll know the people that sort of that'll play me and that know me, you know. So
Well, you're doing a wonderful job, Tom. You're doing a great job. Keep going, keep writing. That's all I can say, and keep putting your stuff out there.
Yeah, I have actually another song out there as well. It's called Lullaby My Baby. I don't know if you heard it or not.
I've heard that. I was talking about that earlier on, saying soothing and comforting.
Yeah,
that's I heard a lot. One of my lines in there is that I like is come to me, comforting, soothe your pain.
Yeah,
and I will lay my arms around you or something. And that was
right. Yeah,
that was really nice, by the way. Very thoughtful lyric.
Yeah. Like I put a lot of thought into that because I was just thinking of two people at the end of the day that are there just to comfort one another and console one another. So it's about fear and anxiety. It's about worrying about the future. It's about the darkness at night, and it's about waiting for the morning. And it's about one person putting their arms around the other person and saying, "Look, everything will be all right, and I'm here." Do you know what I mean? So there's a bit of that. It's like
lovely.
It's like maybe a father to a child. It may be a husband to a wife. Do you know what I mean? It could be a friend or whatever, or a partner. You know, because obviously the society today. Now, when I say husband and wife, things are obviously after changing a lot. So there's a lot of different sort of permutations on the theme. Do you know that it could be? You know.
Well, I wish you all the best, Tom, and I do appreciate your time with us. Thank you very much.
No problem, Graham.
And
thanks very much.
No worries, and I hope you have a lovely Christmas with your missus showing at your neck. I hope you have a lovely Christmas, and keep it. Yeah, I hope you keep in touch with your sons and your family as well.
All right, thanks very much, Graham. Thanks for your time.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
Okay, do you want me to play out?
Yeah, you go for it. Yeah.
Children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time. Children are singing, bells are ringing, peace at Christmas time.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Cheers, Tom.
Bye now and happy Christmas.
And you, mate.
Bye.
Happy New Year as well.
Thanks, Graham.